In today's tough economic times, no one can afford to throw away money on high energy costs. Today on For Your Home, I'll show you how to save the most on your energy dollars. Don't go away. It's coming up next. Plan to be energized. More and more homeowners today are deciding to invest in their existing homes rather than trying to sell and take a hit in the housing market. One of the big changes homeowners are wanting to do is increase the size of their living space. I recently spoke with one homeowner, and here's what she would like to change about her existing home.
My husband Alex and I have lived in the neighborhood for 12 years. We thought about looking at other homes and moving to a different neighborhood, a different house, but we really liked where we were. We really loved our house. We enjoyed the building process the first time, felt very comfortable with our builder. They, lucky for us, are in the renovation business now, so we were able to contact them and they helped us design the perfect house on our perfect lot. In the addition, we were able to add a basement and a 2-level addition above it. We added a third-car garage and a bigger bonus room over the third-car garage. We had issues with the fact that our bonus room over the garage was hot and our outdoor living area on the back of the house was very hot as well because we have western exposure. So in the addition, we were able to cover the porch, put some extra insulation in, do some things to make the house much more comfortable to live in.
Adding a new addition to your home is the perfect time to deal with the energy efficient issues that you've experienced. Now, our homeowner, Krista, said that one of the biggest problems that they had with this bonus room is that they could never keep it cool enough, especially in the summer. So Todd Nichols is here with me today, and he's an insulation specialist, and he says he has the answer to Krista's problem. Is that true?
And I'm very hot. Thank you. Yes, Krista.
You've got your work cut out for you up here,
yes, we
because this is a hot space.
Very hot. Yes, what you have here is a dynamic of a bonus room over garage, which is very, very popular in the Charlotte area as well as across the country. However, these spaces create very different dynamics than you have in the rest of the home.
Yeah, because your garage isn't climate controlled below
Not
it.
climate controlled, then we have a very dark roof. In the summertime, those shingles can heat up to about 160 degrees. So now we have 160 degree radiant temperatures within about 10 inches of our conditioned space.
Wow.
The third problem we have with these spaces, you see here, you typically have these 5-foot knee walls.
Right.
Okay, and on the back side of this knee wall, it's also going to get very, very hot.
Because it's just dead space in there, so
Dead
there's no
space.
air moving through there.
Exactly.
Okay.
And typically what you see is a fiberglass bat being installed on this bay. In this case, the homeowners try to do something about that. What's called six-side that fiberglass bat to make it perform.
But it didn't work.
Didn't work. So what we're doing here is using a spray foam insulation. We'll be applying the foam directly to the underside of the deck, all the way down to the eaves, solving this hot problem behind this knee wall, as well as keeping this radiant heat from being transferred into the space.
And because it's a spray and foam, it's going to just go and get every little nook and cranny that is here and condition the space.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, previous to the demo, when we first took down this drywall, we saw fiberglass bats, attempted to be stuffed up in the base. Some of it was cuts. You saw a lot of gaps and cracks, which caused the problem. Again, by installing the foam from the eave, from the soffit, all the way up to the ridge, this problem will go away.
Okay, now what are you going to do about the garage? Because I noticed when I came in, all the drywall had been torn off the ceiling of the garage.
Exactly. What we saw in the garage, we saw typically what you see with bonus rooms over the garage. You have a 2x10 rafter filled with an R19 fiberglass bat that's only 5.5 inches thick.
So that space that's running between the batting and the roof is just hot air.
An air barrier system as well as insulation solves that problem.
Okay, so you're gonna spray that on top of the roofing there, which will insulate the floor. You're gonna do the same thing to the side and to the knee walls.
Correct.
Filling in all of those gaps, and then we'll finally be able to control the climate in here.
Not to mention air quality.
Well, they can't do that soon enough for us because it's got to be 110 up here today.
It's hot. So what you have with air quality, as you park your car in your garage, the fumes from those cars come off and come up into living space because the fiberglass material lets air go right through it, and on that air rides bad things like pollutants.
Okay, so we're going to also be able to accomplish the air quality by just doing the same thing we do for insulation.
You betcha.
2 in 1.
2 in 1.
I love that idea. Now, we've also made a lot of changes to this house, of course, because they're doubling the size of it.
Right.
And they have a cooling and heating problem outside on the porch. Let's go take a look at that
You betcha,
situation.
let's go.
Okay, so what do we have out here? It's a little bit cooler, at least.
Very nice. I've cooled down quite a bit just in the last few minutes. Vicki, what we have here is a very large open porch. And what you have here above is you have a ceiling with an attic with a roof.
Okay.
That will get very hot this time of year. This is the south part of the sun, west here, shooting down this roof all day long.
Okay.
The homeowner plans on putting a number of ceiling fans down this green porch.
And will the ceiling fans cool it down?
They will. What we're proposing to the homeowner is also to spray foam on the roof deck of this area.
Okay.
Which is just like putting a big shade tree over this space.
Oh, okay. So even though this is going to be an outdoor area, it's not going to be climate controlled. By doing the spray foam up there, we're going to be able to lower the temperature here.
Correct. Because what will happen if we don't do that, when these ceiling fans come on,
right,
we pull that warm air from this roof deck
just
on
push
top
it right down
right on top of you.
Okay, so it can be used inside to create a nice comfortable zone for everybody.
Right.
And we can use it out here to create another comfortable area.
Exactly.
All right, so that's going to solve the two problems for our homeowners by just the way we insulate it.
Exactly right.
These are also important. They save us energy dollars. They make us more comfortable in our homes. And I can't wait for it to be cooler here. How about you?
Same here.
Thanks,
That's
Ty.
great. Thank you.
New doors and windows are another important part of energy saving and upgrading your home's appearance. New decorative blinds can also save you energy dollars. When planning your home improvement budget, don't forget to include as many energy saving features as you can afford. The benefits will pay you back sooner than you might think.
Whether you're planning a large addition or just some renovation projects around your house, it's the perfect time to get rid of those drafty doors and windows. You lose a lot of energy that way. Stan Yardley is here with me today, and he's a window expert, and he's going to tell us how we can save energy just by making those changes. Right, Stan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what is it about windows that is such a huge loss of energy if it's not the right kind?
Well, it represents somewhere around 5 to 10% of the square footage of the home is represented in the glass in the wall. All energy differences between hot and cold, heat wants to go to the cold surface. So therefore, most of the heat in your house will go to the glass because obviously we have to see through it, so we can't make it quite as tight as a wall. So therefore, being a major component of the house, to spend some time researching and learning about the technology in windows is very important.
And they're so much different than they used to be before, because, years ago we would put storm windows over them to try to get some more energy efficient. But now that's all built into them. And how is that done?
Well, we use sophisticated glazing and different glass that they've come out with the technology. And with storm windows or anything you're laying over as a mechanical seal, it's unsightly and it doesn't do the job. So by doing manufacturer's recommended technology in the glass, you have a much more efficient window.
Okay, now we're working with wood windows.
Yes.
And what is it about wood that is so much better than, say, metal windows?
Well, it's the best natural known insulator that we have in our environment. So therefore, it allows us in its natural state to insulate. Then we can paint it or stain it and have the beauty of that wood and have a warm residential environment rather than a commercial environment that metal windows give you. We can clad the outside of the window with aluminum so that you don't ever have to paint it, so that you have the advantages of a metal window, but none of the disadvantages.
Okay, and you still have that insulating factor going on there. Okay, now this is a big concern of my viewers, I'm sure, and a lot of homeowners, is that I'm only replacing the windows in this new addition or the doors in this new addition. How am I going to deal with the fact that they are not the same manufacturer as the other part of my house? Maybe I don't know who that is.
Well, we try to design them so that they look compatible with what's existing in the house. We make custom sizes, we make custom designs. We also know that the homeowner, when he does our windows in addition, probably will come back and want to replace those other windows too.
So once you get started, it's like every kind of remodeling project, it just keeps going.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that we replaced here wasn't part of our original plan, but is exactly, this was a glass sliding door here, and now it's being changed to a French door.
Right.
Why is this so much more energy efficient for us?
Well, a French door, you back weather strip it so that when you close the door, you're compressing the seal rather than a friction weather strip of a sliding door. Also, a French door allows you to entertain and have better traffic flow throughout.
Okay, and that's so important because this is a big, large porch out here, and being able to open up the whole area for entertaining just really adds to the whole experience.
It sure does, and quite frankly, it's more compatible with dated architecture, with old world look.
Well, I'm really excited about seeing how this whole project is going to come together, and thanks for this information about the windows and doors. I really appreciate it. So don't give up your opportunity. If you're doing that remodeling project, look and see what's available for you when it comes to changing those doors and windows.
Selecting quality replacement windows is only half the story. Make sure that you hire a certified installer that will make sure your windows are installed properly so they'll perform and function for many years to come.
All of us are really interested in creating a nice, cozy, energy-efficient atmosphere within our homes for our families, but we don't want to give up fashion. I was really excited when I ran across these new shades because shades are the real energy-saving product we're talking about today. Did you know that 20% of your heating costs can go right through the window if you don't have shades? That's a lot of money. That's money you can take and put in your pocket at the end of the year. But we want them to look good to match the decor. These shades have a special honeycomb manufactured process, and it's lined with an energy shield material that actually traps that nice warm air, keeps it inside, and keeps the cold air out. And in the summer, it does the reverse factor. The thing that I like the most about it is it was available in over 100 different fabric shades, which is fantastic for me. And look at this. They can be pulled down from the top so you can control the kind of view you have. I absolutely love that. And they can also come up from the bottom so you can keep an eye on your kids when they're outside playing in the backyard. Now, when you've got fashion and energy efficiency and a great view enhancer, I am all about that.
There are great new energy-saving heating and cooling systems available for homes in just about every location. For energy-efficient windows and doors to work to their fullest potential, you have to have a good, modern heating and cooling system.
If your house is more than 10 years old, you may be faced with having to replace your heating and cooling system much sooner than you would like. Now, my mountain home is over 200 years old, and for the last 10 years, I've relied on electric baseboard heat. But, you know, I've never been comfortable with that. First of all, it's very expensive to operate, and second, I just don't feel comfortable about going off and leaving those hot heaters on when nobody's around here. And if you leave a home in the mountains with no heat during the winter, lots of bad things can happen, and believe me, they have. So I started deciding that I would kind of start looking around at an alternative way to heat this cabin. Now, I don't have access to natural gas, so that was out of there. I don't want to go back to electric, so that left for me propane and solar. Now, I don't know a lot about using propane heat, so I asked John Jessup, he's with the North Carolina Propane Gas Association, if John would give us some information about propane, how it is, and how to use it, and if it'll work for us. Hi, John.
Hi, Vicki. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to the cabin.
Great place.
Thank you. Now, John, like I was saying, I've never worked with propane before, and so kind of what is propane? Where do we get it?
Propane is a bottled natural gas. It's kept under it's compressed natural gas, and it comes from the refinery process.
Okay. All right. So is it like a byproduct of what they're doing?
Yeah, it is a byproduct of the refinery process, and they capture that gas and bottle it.
All right. So we're really actually recycling then a product that would just be burned off or something.
Exactly. Normally it would be burned off.
How about the dependability of it up here?
Propane is a very dependable fuel up here. Like if the power were to go out, you still have your propane there. If you were to put in gas logs, it would still run. If you had gas lights that ran up here, your gas lights would still work without electricity. So it's a very dependable fuel. And then your source of propane is stored in your tanks here, so you always have your source of propane here.
Okay, so if we lost electricity, we would have the backup of logs if we put in propane logs there. How about hot water heater? Can we run a hot water heater off of propane?
Yes, you can run a hot water heater off propane and also a cook stove.
Great. And how about the new tankless hot water heaters? Can you run them like that as well?
Those do need electricity to run to ignite them. So because they're electronic ignition, so those would not work. But the advantage of the tankless, you're not heating the hot water when you don't need it. Okay,
great. Propane sounds like it's a good answer for me as far as clean is concerned and accessibility and dependability. How about the economics of it?
You're going to save about 23% over the cost of an electric unit. If you replace your heating unit with electric, the propane's going to be about 23% more efficient.
Okay, is it going to run just like a gas furnace would when it runs with propane? I can turn it down really low when I'm not here and just have a low heat on?
Exactly. It'll run just like a regular, if you have natural gas in the city, this works just like the one you'd run in town.
I love all the features of that this is going to provide for us at the cabin. Thanks for this information. Appreciate it. I need to go check on the work and see how they're doing out back. Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Hey, Vicki, good to see you.
Good to see you again, too. This is Charlie Bulla, and he's here to help us pick out the kind of unit that we're going to be using in the cabin. You know, I'm really excited about making this switch, to propane because it sounds like it's going to really answer our problems. Now, what kind of furnace are you going to put in to run on that?
We're going to be putting in a 90+% furnace.
Okay, what do you mean when you say 90% plus?
Well, a standard furnace in today's world is 80% efficient. So essentially what that means is 20% of the fuel you're using to heat your home is just wasted. Your 90+% furnace is going to be at least 10% more efficient than today's standard.
This doesn't look like a propane tank. What do we got going here?
No, this is a solar panel actually for your air conditioner we're going to be installing.
Oh, okay, so we're going to have both dual types of fuel? How's that work?
Well, actually, your air conditioning is going to operate typically off all electricity, but you have the option of including solar panels, up to 15 solar panels.
Wow, so I can run it off electricity, but if I want to invest in the solar, it's ready to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, how many of these panels am I going to have?
You can do anywhere from 1 to 15.
Okay.
And obviously 15 would give you a better source of energy savings.
All right, now how about running the rest of the electrical appliances in my house?
When your air conditioner is running, it's going to be powered off any solar energy that's being brought into the home. But if your air conditioning is not operating, then the solar energy that's been produced by the solar panels is going to be run through the rest of the appliances in your home.
Does this have to go up on my roof, or where can I install them?
It doesn't have to go on your roof. Actually, some common installations are actually on a lean-to that can be built on your property.
Well, I've got 10 acres here, so I'm sure which facing way is the best for these?
We want it to be facing south if at all possible. That would be the best direction.
All right. Well, this sounds like an exciting use of energy. I love the fact that we're switching from our big demand on electricity to propane and to solar. It makes us much more green that way.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to go inside and see how we're coming along with Todd and on the install, see if everything's going to come together.
Sounds great.
Thanks a lot.
See you, Vicki.
Hey, Todd. How's it going?
Hey, Vicki. Great.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm here with Todd Hagee, and he is with Climate Control Systems, and he is going to be responsible for putting our new heating and cooling units into the cabin.
Correct.
How big a unit are we going to have in here?
Well, the only way we know that, Vicki, is if we do a load calculation.
What is that?
That's the most important step in any home, the sizing the heating and cooling equipment. And that is involved where we go around, we measure all the windows, all the doors, and then we see what kind of insulation you have overhead and underneath. Then we plug all that into a computer program, which basically tells us exactly what size you need for your home.
Okay, so it's really high-tech then.
Correct, yeah. And for your particular home, we're looking at a 2.5 tons of cooling.
Okay. All right. What will that size do for me, that tons?
Well, that's going to give you the exact cooling you need. In other words, we don't want to undersize it, which will make it run all the time. We don't want to oversize it, which will make it short cycle.
Okay.
And if your particular air conditioning, we went with a 17 SEER rating.
What's a SEER rating?
SEER rating is it's a very important thing. That's your seasonal energy efficiency rating.
Oh.
And that tells us basically how efficient your air conditioner is going to be on electricity.
We went with baseboard heating and electric to start with because I didn't want to have big ducts going through. These are 200-year-old 14-inch logs. So switching now to a duct system, how's that going to impact the integrity of the home?
Well, you're not going to see that duct system. That's all going to be totally underneath the home. So all we got to do is cut a few vents in the floor, and we also have some cold air returns.
So we'll have those cold air. Is that where I change out the filters?
No, actually it's not. For your particular application, we're going to install a whole home filter, which is located at the equipment downstairs.
How often does it have to be changed?
Well, actually, I was going to say we recommend 6-month interval changes to those.
Okay.
To keep the unit running most efficient.
And how about for me for maintenance with the unit?
Well, just like your car, you change the oil in it. Your air conditioner needs maintenance every year. We recommend at least a one-time-a-year checkup. Okay. And that just keeps it running efficient, keeps it clean, and less breakdowns.
Okay. Well, great. It sounds like it's going to be the solution to our problems here, and hopefully we'll be able to keep it on when it's really cold, save money, and keep the pipes from breaking.
Excellent.
All right. I'll let you go back to your
you.
work. Now, we've been talking about ways that you can conserve energy indoors. Did you know that one of the biggest uses of energy around your house is right out in your own backyard?
The bigger your plants grow, the more water they demand. Outdoor living areas can also be a big power user. There are some ways you can improve in both of these areas. As we focus on ways to save energy, it is important to analyze every detail, from the type of power we're using to how efficient the systems are. Let's look at some ways to save energy on the outside of our homes.
Now, Billy, this side of my yard by the driveway, I'm not happy with at all because I've got My goal is to try to hide my power boxes and
Right,
stuff.
great idea.
Still have access because I got my water hose there. And I've got air conditioning and heating units in the corner.
You can see it blowing the bushes over here, and you know you want to keep that those away from those air
But I don't want to
conditioning
see
units.
them.
You don't want to see them, but you want to keep good airflow. Because if not, you're going to put more stress on it, and it's going to cost you more energy. Now, if we look at this big treed Yopon tree-form holly here, it was actually put in here to block these power boxes.
But it's so skimpy, it doesn't do a good job.
It's actually going to be too big for this area, so I'm going to recommend that you take this out and put something more decorative like a living wall in here.
And what do you mean by a living wall?
A living wall can be made, it can be a trellis, it can be wrought iron, and we can grow ivies and different types of blooming plants on that, and it'll give you a little access to walk right behind it, give you a great, beautiful colored wall. Now we're coming in here, we've got pittosporum, gardenias, we've got a little grass strip area here, which is a gorgeous fountain, has water in it, but as we can see, it's actually causing this area to stay too wet, and it's causing disease in the turf. I'm going to recommend that you take this out and make this more natural. Maybe you can come in here and put you a little bit of liriope or something like that with a little bit of color or some other type of ground cover. But this really needs to be thinned out. Okay. Now we have another Yopon over here that's been topped.
Because I want to see out my kitchen window, so I took the top off.
So you took the top out of it. So you could use that there for a while. But in here, it's just really, like you said, you've inherited this. The plants have now grown up and matured, and they're just too thick. It's a common thing around everybody's house. When you get plants in when they're babies, they don't place them based on what they're going to become when they get older.
Well, these guys are sure growing up to be big sizes, you know?
I think I'd keep the gardenia.
Okay, tell me what I got going here, because this thing is scary, because I looked at this white stuff and it moved.
It does, and that's a millibug, and you had some cottony scale on there. So that's, again, you're taking the time to check out these plants. If you don't, next thing you know, your plant's dead.
Okay, so we're going to take this one out so it doesn't infect the rest of the yard anyway.
We take this one and this one out. Let's let this gardenia mature.
That's because you know I love gardenias.
You love gardenias, that's right.
All right, and take out that holly there.
Take out the holly, build us a living wall of color. You can actually put different kinds of ivies in there that bloom and have multiple blooms in there.
I like
really
that.
Make a really
Sounds like a project for me, doesn't it?
It does. Or
your
husband.
Well, you know, it's hard enough. Get him out for his roses. That's about it out here in the garden. Well, I think that we can conserve energy for our plants and end up with a more beautiful garden that will serve the purpose that we want if we just think about how big is this guy going to be when he grows up.
Right. You want to be able to get around and service him. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right on
target. That's what I thought about my nephew when he grew up and was a football player. He was just a little guy at one time. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. Adding a deck to your backyard can really expand your family's living space. And the fun doesn't have to stop if you add lighting to that deck. Dave Lombardo is here with American Decks, and he's got a great solution to how do you get lights to your deck. Dave, I'm dying to hear this because so many of my viewers want to bring light to their outside spaces. So how does the system work?
Well, Vicki, the guts of the system is this little secret. This is the power supply.
All right.
This is a DC current LED-based system.
And what does that mean to me?
What that means is most systems on the market are AC based. This converts immediately at the receptacle to DC current.
Okay.
And that allows us to power up more than 50 fixtures.
Off of this one little guy.
Off of this one little guy.
Okay, and because they're LED, that means that it doesn't take a lot of energy, right?
It means it takes pennies per month versus dollars per month.
I like that right away. Okay, so now this goes where?
This we mount, we connect it with an extension cord to any of the outlets on the house. We typically try to hide it underneath the deck using this stainless steel bracket. We run this self-controlling photocell switch so that this has exposure to light.
So it goes off and on its own? Exactly. I don't have to switch it off and on, and if I'm out of town?
It goes on and off all on its own.
I'm loving this system, absolutely. Okay, so now that we've got that connected, how about the steps? Because that's the most, dangerous area on a deck, to walk out on a dark deck. How can we do that?
Well, what we do, Vicki, then is we take the 30-foot lead right from the power supply, and we take it to the first patented plug-and-play wiring harness on the system.
Okay.
And so what this becomes is a daisy chain of these harnesses underneath the deck.
Right underneath.
And they just simply plug together.
Like putting Christmas lights together.
Like a daisy chain, exactly.
Okay.
So we drill a hole through the back of the riser, through the top. We poke this through, and all we do is then just plug this in together.
Dave, I absolutely love the step lighting, and these around the sides for ambiance. Now, I don't see a wire, though. How'd you get it up to here without that?
All we did is drilled a hole through the deck and pulled the wire up and put a groove in this board which we screwed on to cover the wire. And what's really cool about the fact is this is LED lighting. That means it's cool to the touch. There's no heat.
So we have a system here that can be retrofit or used on a new deck, a wood deck, or a composite lumber deck.
Very, very easy.
You can install it yourself if you were handy, or you can have a professional install it for you, and you've got security, you have safety on the steps, and you've got great mood lighting on it. Sounds like a great product to me. Now, you can go out and add lighting to your deck. We have talked about a lot of different energy sources today and ways that you can save energy at your own home. In fact, you know, I think the only energy source we didn't talk about today was water. But that's an idea for another show. I hope you'll make it a date to join me again right here on For Your Home when I'll have lots of more ideas that you can do around your home.
If you would like additional information about today's guests or project ideas, please visit us on the web at foryourhome.com. We will do our best to help you out.